Hazoor explained to us how to become a good preacher,
Right.
ilallah. What other teaching of Quran for those who listen to message?
Do you want me to explain how to become a good Da'i Allah? Is that right?
Yes, please.
And what was the second part of the question?
The second part question is what other teaching of Quran for those who listen to the message?
Right. You see, first of all, I have been telling the Jamaat for so many years now that if you want me to answer this question in nutshell, in short, the best answer is to try to imitate Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was the Da'i ilallah created by God himself, and he was a model in everything for all the people, for all the times to come. So the short answer, and very comprehensive one for that matter, is that we should try to find out more about the ways of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in relation to his office to call the whole world to the path of Islam or to God. And all these traditions are well preserved. And they are the traditions in which there are no two opinions between Sunnis and Shiites, one sect and another, Hanafites and Shafis, etc. Now that is the beauty of this, that these traditions, they do not relate to beliefs and dogmas, so people have not interfered with them, they have not interpolated with them, they left them alone as pure. So there will be no disagreement as far as the style and approach and attitude of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is concerned towards preaching. So that is the treasure for us, uninterpolated, undiluted, pure as it was in its original pristine purity. So you better study the ways of Hazrat Rasul Akram sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he did it. Number one, you will discover that he did it without fear. He did it in a manner as he would never intentionally injure the sensibilities of any other person. Yet he did not stop from declaring the truth, even if it injured the sensibilities of others. Now when he said, God is one, he said it without fear of rejection, without fear of persecution or hostility, whatever you may call it, which resulted from this claim. He knew this was happening and this would happen further, yet he did not desist from declaring the truth. But he knew also that this is a claim which should not hurt anybody. So the intention of hurting or insulting others was never mixed with his intentions. Because to say God is one, why should anyone be hurt about it? So that means if the reaction is diseased, if it is not normal, then it is no fault of Da'i ilallah. It is his responsibility not to not to injure others' sensibilities willfully with intentions to hurt them. But if he says something which in itself is innocent, which should not hurt the sensibilities of a sane, normal person, then he should not desist from doing it, lest somebody else should feel offended. If I respectfully say Assalamu alaikum to you, should you be offended? No. Why should you be? But if in Pakistan they know that you are a Muslim, you are an Ahmadi Muslim, and you say Assalamu alaikum to anyone, there will be the mullahs, if the Muslim clergy, they will show a very violent reaction to this. You have insulted us, you have hurt our sensibilities, you have no right to injure our feelings. Now, is that your fault or his fault if it happens? If you say, go to Pakistan as an Ahmadi Muslim, walk the streets of Karachi, Lahore, and say Assalamu alaikum to anyone with longer beard who looks like a member of the clergy, and he reacts violently knowing that you are an Ahmadi, and drags you to the police station and asks the urchins of the streets to come and beat you a little bit as well before you are handed over to the police. Now, whose fault would that be?
It's his.
His fault, you're sure.
Of course, I'm sure.
But if you know that they don't like it, then
But still, I have to say, I'm Muslim.
yes, you see,
This is Islamic nature.
that is it. That's what I'm saying.
They don't have right.
And if you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah in the streets of Pakistan, and they drag you to the police station and produce a verdict of a High Court and Supreme Court that when an Ahmadi does it, he insults the Holy Prophet of Islam. So as such, his case should be registered against him under 295C, which means death penalty is demanded by the applicant who registered the complaint against such a person. Now, if you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and somebody registers a case against you in a police station anywhere in Pakistan, would you desist from saying La ilaha illallah?
No way.
But you know you are hurting others.
But still, I believe in Allah.
That is it. That is exactly. That exactly was the case with Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. No difference. Whenever he said La ilaha illallah and his followers said La ilaha illallah like Bilal, they were opposed, they were abused, they were beaten up, they were dragged into in the streets of Mecca on the hard stony surfaces and even in scorching heat of the summer sun. But did they stop saying that? They did not. Why? Did they want to hurt the society around them? Was it proper to hurt the society? No. It was not proper. Then why did they not stop saying La ilaha illallah?
Because they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
No. The answer is, in itself, the claim La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah should not hurt anyone who has an iota of sense in his cells. You see, anyone who is not mad, anyone who has command of his senses as a normal person, must not be hurt in any way. If anyone else says, I believe God is one and Muhammad is his prophet, what is wrong with that?
Nothing.
So,
Nothing at all.
if you are right, and if your beliefs should not hurt others, in principle, then for the sake of others, you should not stop from expressing your views and calling the people to the path of righteousness and the path of God. This is the first lesson we draw from the conduct of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did not want to hurt even a small fly. It was not in him to hurt others. Yet for the sake of imaginary offenses which people took against his message, he was wise enough not to stop.
Sure.
You see, if I throw a flower at you and you feel hurt, this is your fault, not mine. But if I throw an open knife at someone, of course that would be wrong. That is wrong. So do not throw open knives upon others. Throw flowers with love, and continue to do that. Ultimately, this will win you the battle between the right and wrong, inshallah. You will emerge victorious. But the second thing which he showed persistently was perseverance in his preaching and patience at the suffering he received at the hands of others. Now, when you see it in this larger perspective, then you understand that the preacher for the truth, or caller to the path of Allah, he does not hurt others, but others do hurt him. This is obvious. So get ready for that. When you started on the course of calling others, you may find people who become very abusive to you, who even may beat you if they can, and hurt you in so many ways. But you have not hurt them. You know that. So continue doing that. And then face the music and do it with patience. That is the second prerequisite for a successful da'i ilallah to acquire. Otherwise, he can't traverse this path, he can't tread upon this difficult path. So, the third most important thing one remembers is that whenever in difficulty, he prayed to Allah. And with the help of prayer, the difficulties were solved and the issues were resolved in a strange way. The enemies, the so-called enemies, who were bloodthirsty in hatred for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they turned into friends who started showering their own blood to save his. Now, this was the great miracle wrought by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's prayer, persistence, and perseverance and patience, and sticking always to the truth. Now, if you are armed with these weapons, I can't talk about all the other things. I have just given you some samples. If you preach to your own people who live here, or write to your friends and relatives over to your own country, of course you know many addresses and this and that. You send them literature, videos, cassettes, and do it as I have told you, for the sake of God, always with good intentions and with love and persuasion, with patience at whatever injury you receive in response to your efforts, and pray. Then nobody can defeat you. You're bound to emerge victorious, because this is a prescription which we have seen used 1400 years ago. Such amazing success, haven't we? Yes.